Right. So just let me send out the. First of all, let me see if this is my sub box, and then I need to send it out the link to the. Yeah, I can hear myself talk. Just wait for a bit, because sorry about that. It's supposed to start at 6 because my computer don't recognize me anymore, and they how can I say they need me to re-log in, and then I need to go get my old phone, and yeah, and I'm a bit under the weather, so yeah, hopefully this will be a quick one. So again, this funny cat again. I'm gonna have to have another one because I have some picture that my cat's really really funny, but this is not my cat, by the way. It's just some cat I saw online, and kidding. Well, my cat is something like that. It's like a tabby, and yeah. Some days I'm gonna show you my cat, but well, not today. So, oops, see Daisy. I was watching something else. Anyway, someone else YouTube. So, yeah. So today we are gonna go about the Iranian, and I forgot to pull in the Iranian, and I'm not gonna try to look up something, but anyway, so what happened today? I mean, the last weekend in Iran, in like last I think week 4. How come it's trading and monitoring? I think this is not no, it's actually here. I think that's just an ad, but this is for the later for the question later. But anyway, so what happened in Iran? Not much. So Iran start charging people to have the ship go through. Well, oil price is still the same, and then you get the big news that this week Trump doing the what's that called, insider trading, or I mean not Trump, but one of the people that in his administration, because there's an expectantly high level of trade of oil, and I think S&P 500 just before he put that post online, and then well, now the oil price is actually going back up again. It's around like I think 97 last I checked. I'm not gonna do it now. Otherwise, I gotta have to reprocess the whole thing. Anyway, what's that called? Yeah, I mean, then it just like make people feel like that's how or why this war started. I honestly don't know. And if you're following me at Pakistan Defense, you see I make a post before saying that 82nd Airborne have ordered, I think, leave cancel and stuff. Well, they actually tried to put it on the front line, which I already said like 2 weeks ago. I think probably 3 weeks ago, just immediately after the, I don't know. I know it's not whether they already started or they just doing that when they try to send the 31st MUU. I don't remember because I can check, but I mean, you're like, that's just. So what's going on? I don't know, honestly. I don't know anymore because it just doesn't make any sense. Because the amount of personnel we send, unless we can, I mean, line up all the fraction together, and even then it'll be a hard job to do. Otherwise, it's not gonna be a ground invasion. Not even like island hopping campaign because you only got like 5,000 people. They're not sending the whole division. Well, at least that's what they said. They're not sending the whole division. They're just sending like the MUU, which is 2,500 and 1,000 to 2,000 airborne troop. You ain't gotta do anything about that. You probably can do like interdiction at the sea, but that's probably it. I mean, they gotta stop or turn around the freighter or oil tanker and stuff. I don't think they're gonna do anything, but I mean, like both sides actually lower the intensity, probably because for America they got nothing to hit, and for Iran they just like don't bother anymore. I mean, not don't bother, but I mean, at this point, what Iran would do and could do is just like setting out one or two, just make sure they let the American know that they're still in the fight, and America and Israel they probably run out of target anyway. I mean, you can only bomb the same place so many times before you have to bomb them again, and what they're saying is like 2,000-3,000 a week. You probably bomb them twice already, everything. So what's they gonna do? Well, they are doing, I think, like I don't want to say no-fly zone, but like a cast zone around southern Iran. But it's not gonna do anything because they're still sending missile and drone up, and drone you probably will be too late when you can find them anyway. And again, it doesn't matter if they hit anything anyway, because if they actually start still threatening the ship, the traffic, it's gotta be the same. So what happened here was America, they're gonna try to say like, oh, I get everything. Either they gotta do that, right? Either they gotta trying to say I did everything, and then I'm just gonna pull back, and then whatever Iran do. They don't care, and again let the world clean up their business, or our business, American, or they gotta be have to escalate. I don't quite see either, so I don't know. Now it's stuck, honestly. Yeah. So this is what happened in Iran now. It is the same as before. The tactical. Well, tactically, America probably already won, because I would say like up to 90% of all tactical target, like not tactical. I mean, like tactical command. I mean, like all the target that you can hit, you already hit them. I mean, like when you're already flying in like A-10 or bomber or whatever, like AC-130, there are no anti-air threat in Iran anymore. I mean, I know there's like a video showing that Iran put up like I think Ikla or something, something like that, or Manpad against the F6, F-18, I think. But that's not gonna do anything, because if you were lucky, you probably score 1 or 2 hit. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't bend the lumber or something. Operationally, it doesn't stop anything. Operationally, it's a draw, if I have to say. And strategically, I don't know. I honestly don't know what both sides are doing, so I can't even say they win or who lose. I mean, I already explained it like last couple of episodes. I don't know what America are doing. I mean, if you want Iran to give up the nuclear ambition, like you either go all in, invade them, change the government, and then make sure it doesn't happen, or you try to talk him to the table, and they're doing either. They're not doing any of them. They don't talk and they don't invade. They just keep bombing. I mean, I don't know how you can bomb and then say like, okay, I bombed you like 1,600,000 times, and your nuclear program is not dead. I mean, that's the same thing they said like 5 months, 6 months ago when they bombed the whatever target there were. And I'm not gonna say that's my word, but I heard it from somewhere that if they can restart the program, make it a threat again in 5-6 months, I mean, what makes you think they're not gonna do it again? I mean, for America or for Israel, you either go in now, all in, like send like a couple of division, or like 5-6 air ground task force, Marine air ground task force, and then you try to invade Iran, try to force a regime change. Either that, or you talk to them. and they're doing neither. So I honestly don't know what's going on. Because you know, Iran won't gonna give up anything, and I also don't know what Iran wants. I mean, obviously they are holding Hormuz hostage, so you know every day that they didn't resolve, it's not gonna do anything. I mean, you know, we just all suffer. But the thing is, you're like, what are you going to resolve? You wouldn't say, you know, like I'm blocked by sanction or what? I mean, there aren't anything that they can talk about it and the other side will agree. Let's just say that, all right? It's not gonna be like Israel go away. No way, that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna be America go away. That's not gonna happen. I mean, so yeah, because I just don't know what the long game are. I mean, yeah, like if you don't want them to bomb you, well, first of all, is that even the tactical thing? I mean, is that even a strategical thing? I don't think so. Because you're like, okay, say like, oh, we cease fire right now. What makes you think America or Israel won't bomb you again in like 6 months, 12 months down the road? Or some other regime, I mean, it's not regime, some other administration took over and they said like, oh, I'm just gonna keep bombing you. I mean, if you stop now, you stop. So either have to be permanent, or it had to. I mean, for the strategical thinking or kind of way, it either have to be permanent, or it has to be like really advantageous to you. And I don't see any way you can actually force anything other than, I mean, you keep holding a hostage. Hopefully they go away, but that doesn't do anything. Even if they are going away, that's the question. So I don't even know what kind of strategical level that any side can win. Yeah, so I'm not gonna pretend I know something I don't know. So yeah, that would be it. I mean, it just keep going on and on and on and on until either basically until the next round come in, and then you know like, and if I have to guess, eventually, not next year, not this year, not maybe 5-6 years, it's gonna be brewing into a big war because you know like Iran is gonna be like, okay, you're not gonna talk because you just keep bombing me. What am I gonna talking for? It's not gonna do anything. So they're gonna do their way, and America are gonna say, oh, Israel are gonna say, oh, that's not gonna be my way, and the only thing you can do is fight for it. Because if you talk, you just postpone it, you just delay it, and then you just say like, okay, yeah, let's just talk about it. I mean, like nothing gonna change if either side drop their condition. Let's just say, but I don't see any side dropping the condition. That's the problem. So yeah, we go on. Yeah, not much to say. The same old targeting profile. American try to destroy it, try to police the South. It's not gonna push the ship over. I mean, like you may as well just say like pay the I think it's $2 million ransom or something, and then force it over. Or America just pay the shipping company all the money, and then keep the thing flowing. Because I simply and honestly don't see how or why Iran would give up. I mean, that's just not gonna happen. Only because if they give up, they may as well do a regime change while they're at it. And everything we are gonna do is gonna lead to more instability from now on. And yeah. Hope you guys like the Iran thing for like a year or something, because that's we gotta talk about it. Even if Trump said we had enough and pull out tomorrow, we gotta be talking about it next year until like, or maybe more, maybe longer. So that's the Iran situation. Nothing really changed. Attack from both sides. Lower America tried to do like a no-fly zone or whatever zone they call it in southern Iran. And the Iranian keep fighting on. I mean, they're sending like 20 missiles like last week or something. And maybe like a 200, 400 strong. Yeah, It's not that many, but I mean, you're like, what you gonna do? You're not gonna send them all. Again, it's the phrase now they're in is the keep on fighting phrase. I mean, as long as they keep fighting, America and Israel can do shit. But again, I can apologize for this because I have a running nose. I probably have a serious cold coming. So hopefully after this, I gotta take some pill, like Panadol or paracetamol, and then I gotta go to bed. So today we gotta be answering some question from Reddit. So the question, you probably seen it in the what's that called? In the forgot what the title, yeah, and description. So the first question was actually why people use the word actual. Well, actual, you didn't even watch movie, you probably guess what actual means. Actual means actually. The person, the guy that in charge, you talk to him. Not hard to get. Sorry, again. I had to blow my nose. Not really hard to guess it, but why people use actual is that because when you were in war, all right, when you were in a team, you like say I was a second lieutenant, I was a platoon leader of the team. So when my CO, my company commander, want to talk to me, they call me at my field phone or radio telephone. Then I have an RTO. Well, you can guess what the O for, right? Operator, by the way, you can guess it. My RTO usually handle all communication, but sometimes if my CO want to talk to me and they say like, I need to call Bravo 16 actual, means that will be me. Because if my unit is Bravo 16 actual, means my 6 actual means me. 6 is me. 6 is my position. 1 is unit call sign. Like well, that's just a fictional call sign. That's not my call sign in the army. But I mean, like if I say like I want to talk to Bravo 16 actual, then I will have to pick up the phone. Why? Well, because sometimes you just don't want to talk to the RTO, and like have you ever played the game like you talk to someone talk to someone. I mean you like passing message. If my CO have his RTO talk to my RTO talk to me, that's not direct information. I mean that's open to interpretation. So when he wanted to talk to me, he would talk to me. And when I want to talk to someone in charge, I would do the same thing. Like, can I speak to whatever actual? Most frequently it happens when you call like fire support. Because you don't want to talk to some guy who's holding a phone. You want to talk to the guy who actually in charge. So they can give you direct answer. Can you put around in it? Not how, why. Hey, can you ask your guy, can I put a rug in it? If not, can you ask your guy why? Or what can you give me? Something like that. I mean, it's just not economical just to talk to your RTO. Talk to their RTO, not your, what, you have to talk to your RTO. You talk to their RTO and then most of the time it's a lot more clear. But I mean, as a leader in a platoon, you don't actually take all communication. Sometimes you're like sorry, I have a serious cold, so I can't even talk actually. Anyway, so sometimes when you like giving a seat rep, you can't do it yourself, or they can ask you to. I mean, if they want to be anal about it or be an a-hole about it, they will ask you to give you the sit rep. Otherwise, you just give everything to the RTO. They gotta send you like, where are you? What are you doing? Blah blah blah. But I mean, sometimes you need to talk to the guy that's actually in charge instead of you talk to the guy who handled the phone call. That's what actual is for. I mean, as for is there a rule to use it? I mean, there's no rules. I mean, you can request. They can say like, I'm not gonna be coming. I mean, I can't come. Or whatever, and you want to talk to the actual. I mean, if I call my field army corps commander, they're not gonna talk to me. I mean, what? So, like, that's just how it were. I mean, like, if I don't want to talk to the RTO, then I will call actual. By the way, actual is not universal. It's just used in, I think it's just used in the U.S. military. In Commonwealth, they have a different system. I know, used to be in the Commonwealth system, they used the term sunray. Sunray means the leader. Sheldrake is the what's it called? FO. Field observer. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I can't remember a lot of stuff now. I took some medicine before, then I probably ran out now. So I mean, I'm a bit loopy now. And now I think they have a lumber system, if I remember correctly. But I don't know. I'm not a British serviceman or Commonwealth serviceman, so I have no idea. I just know they don't use actual. Or maybe they use actual now. It's just, like... I just don't know. I can't say stuff that I don't know, that pretended I know. But yeah, for American usage, actual is like that. Because you want to talk to the guy, you say... you just call for whatever call sign and actual, put it in the end. Or I need to talk to, say that you can call someone and say I need to talk to Bravo 16 actual. Then you talk to the guy instead of talk to his RTO. Yeah, that's quite simple, right? I think. So another question I get is what's 9-9er? Yeah, some movie use 9-9er. That's more accurate type. Because like unlike in the movie and TV, you don't just say like I need medevac or whatever, and then you just call him. That doesn't. You don't do it like that. When you call, like, first of all, 9-9er, there are two ways you use a 9-9er. Well, if you're looking at the page now, you see medevac 9-9er. Means like when you call a medevac, you have 99 to say. I don't know if this is the line 9 location, call sign, number, patient president, special recruitment require, number of patient and type. How come it's number of patient? You want to ask, right? Anyway, security and pickup zone, pacemarking method, number of nationality, pickup zone, terrain, obstacle. So basically, it just give you like a short briefing on what the situation was, so they can be prepared. So basically, like sometimes some of them just like data. I mean, forwarding data. You just like you need to give them the location to pick you up, right? And so something like, do you need something, or how many people you need to pick up? How do you mark the location? And nationality sometimes it matter. I don't know. So I mean, like you don't just call in and then say like, screw it, I don't care. I can probably, well, I don't know where this is from. I just like go for the first one, because I don't call 9-9er. Well, I approve the request because like if someone would call 9-9er, they have to talk to me first. Because like well, I have my RTO, usually platoon sergeant in charge of casualties. So what happened in the dynamic of platoon is platoon leader lead the platoon, and when you suffer any casualty, the platoon sergeant usually stay behind, with like a platoon medic and stuff, and take care of the casualty, and they usually do the job. I'm not saying that I don't care about them. I mean, but you can't just. Let's just say it's like a crew management, right? You, as a platoon leader, your focus is gonna be how to fight this war, how to fight this battle. Not war. I mean, I'm not like a division, no commander. But when you're in a combat situation, if you're platoon leader, the thing that interests you, I want to say, I don't use this word. I don't know if it's the right word, but the thing that interests you is how you can maneuver your troop, how you deploy your troop, and that means like sometimes everything else you need to delegate to someone else. And in this case, if you're talking about casualty, that's usually the platoon sergeant's job to take care of the casualties. place them, sending the casualty to the what we call casualty clearing point, CCP, or the or just go to them, ask the sometimes accompany the medic to go to the casualty if they can't move. I mean, you're like, oh, if they're safe or whatever. So yeah, that's just how it goes. Another way you use 99er is when you call air support, because you're like because you're like, I mean, as I said, 99 is just giving like a short briefing on whoever you call into, either medevac or co-air support, so they can have grip on the situation you're facing, instead of just blindly going, oh, you want to bomb drop here, they come in and drop here. I mean, yeah, essentially you do that, but I mean, you're talking about like you need to know where you come in, where you're going, and then where is the target location, how hard is target location. So you need to tell them all that 9 point. And friendly, what are you marking it for? This is important information. That's why that's how you convey information. It's not like yeah, I know, because this is, I mean, not pointless, but when you're making a movie, because most people don't go to war, right? All you got is going to watch TV and see movie. I mean, you're like more in a movie, and in movie this is boring, because who gonna do line 9 just so? I mean, and there's another Hollywood thing that a lot of people just yell. They don't to yell. I mean, yeah, I do know somebody who like to yell a lot, but I mean, that's not gonna get stuff done quickly, is it? No. I mean, yeah, so most of the production, they don't care about 99er at all, because they're like you just drag on the production, because you have to take like maybe a minute or two to stay on the line. I mean, if you're doing like a more realistic production, then you will start talking about this, because that's how people talk in the military. You can't just go call someone and they say like, oh, I need something here. You need to be like giving them the whole situation, so they know what they're looking at and how they can help you with. So yeah. So this is how you do the 99er for co-air support. I'm gonna loop with Roman. IPBP, initial point, battle position, means you're like where you're coming in. The starting point for the random target will be engaged. Heading, offset. So basically where you're going. I mean, not you means the guy, the air support. Distance, so how long you travel. Target elevation. Sometimes your elevation make difference, because like, especially when you talk about proximity field. Fuse, not field. Again, you're like, I have a stuck nose, I can't actually talk right now, actually. Target description, you need to know what you're shooting at. Target location, well, I mean, yeah, that just very self-explanatory. Mark type, sometimes you mark with smoke, sometimes you mark with IR probe, sometimes you mark with laser dart. I mean, sometimes you just don't mark it at all. I mean, you use visual marking. Say like, if I'm calling air support to, like defend my base, like I'm trying to think which battle, like Kazan, right? So what happened is, first of all, no base will design like a natural shape, because that blend in. What you do is, you will have like angle coming out of somewhere. It's not gonna be a natural circular, or rectangular, or triangular shape, or polygon shape. Well, that's wrong, because everything is a polygon. I mean, it's not like that, all right? I mean, it's not like a traditional triangle or rectangle or circle. It will be like a, like a different set, because you have to have your location stand against the background, so they can know where you are. If you just have like a circle, then it doesn't matter, because you can't see a circle from, even if they're flying low, like 500 feet. So if you have a unusually shaped perimeter, then you know that's where you drop your ordnance. I mean, that's what not to drop your ordnance, but that's where you are. So when you're doing base defense, you really say like, just drop everything outside my pass. Then I mean, you can distinguish from the air between your pass and the enemy. Most of the type of battle in Vietnam is like that. I mean, you can call it broken arrow, you can call it whatever, because I think broken arrow is from what? We were a soldier, right? I don't know, I don't remember. So I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but I mean, when you drop what we call a fire protective fire, it will be it or never. Then you need to mark the shape. You need to let the guy understand where is the boundary of your base, so they can drop outside your base. Otherwise, you're gonna get friendly. And friendly, talk about friendly. Friendly is the location of your friendlies. If you are under 600 meters from the target, you are danger close. Egress means egress is where they can leave after they drop their ordnance, because sometimes if you saw something like AAA in the south, you're not gonna direct them to leave the combat area from the south, because they're just waiting for bad things to happen. So so you need to give them the instruction, because they don't know all this when they're up there in the air. How are they gonna see? Unless they already engaged. So this is how that thing's gotta do. Like a strike eagle or stuff. They're gonna come in low, and they're gonna drop the ordnance, and then they're gonna leave. And it's your job to tell them where to drop the ordnance, how do they get in, how do they get out, and everything in between. Okay. Another one, we can find it here. Another one question is a very good question. This is an armor question, because I was an armor cavalry rebel. I'm a 19A. Mobility. Protection. And you probably already an MPA, running MPA. Firepower. Yeah, I have a fried brain today. Again, I'm really heavily medicated. So this is similar. I mean, that's just how it goes. So somebody asked, what is the MPF? There's not this one. This one is here's the MPF. So what is an MPF? Mobile Protected Firepower. MPF is actually a concept. I mean, in this example, is the M10. I think it's called Brooker. That was not used anymore. When you talk about armor doctrine, every armor falls into MPF. Every. It doesn't matter if you're Russia, if you're like Germany, or if you're like American, or Japan, or South Korea, or China. Because what tank is like a platform that you can only focus on a few different things. Mobility, protection, or firepower. What's that mean? Sorry about that. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry. I have a very bad flu. I mean not flu. I have a very bad cold, and I'm tired to apologize for it. Anyway, so you can probably see that's the concept of the armor design, not desire. How do you want your armor to be and fit your own doctrine? In America, we focus on mobility. Because we don't care about, well, not that we don't care about, we care about, but we're not focusing on the protection of firepower side. As you can see, we are actually our tank is very quick, relatively lightly armor, but and not really a good powerful gun, not like the Russian one or the British one. So what that means is for us, because we actually focus on while armor doctrine focuses is on you use your armor to punch through the enemy line. either with support from the Air Force or mobile infantry or mechanized infantry. Whew, I ran out of air. And it's different when you were like a Russia. Russia focused on firepower, and the British, they focus on protection. Because like you can see, like British tank is like 75 ton, American tanks like 55 tons, and I mean, it's just how you suit your own fighting style. Because for us, when we write the armor doctrine in the States, we are using them as a combined effort, like with the helicopter gunship or fast air or artillery support. I mean, just like a combined arms. So what we want to do is we want to get mobile. That's why we focus on fire computer, accuracy, mobility. That's what Abram is focusing on. So I hear a lot of people saying that, oh, Abram is shit in Ukraine. That's because they are not doctrine wise follow our doctrine. Because Ukraine is more like a Russian doctrine. So what they do is they use tank instead of like a spearhead vehicle. They use it as like an infantry support. Like they used to engage infantry. So that what they do is they use a big gun, a big tank, and then just ramp up the infantry. Well, we did that with like IFV, but again, we're focusing on the mobility part. So our IFV is fast, like the arm instead of a big cannon. Usually you got a 30mm, 47mm. We have a 25 might, but we pack few tow. I mean, that's how you see the difference between each doctrine and how the tanks are gonna be different with each other. For the British, they are traditionally like I wouldn't say supporting role, but it's like hang on. It's more or less like a I try to think of a word I can understand. I mean, understand. I can really relate to it. Like a mobile gun. Does that make sense to you? You want a gun. I mean, a gun is not like a pistol or revolver or rifle. A gun is like a big artillery. You want to put it mobile, and then you want to use it direct as a direct fire platform. That's what mobile guns do. That's what they're doing is they focus on two things. They focus on firepower and protection. So the British tank is gonna be slower. They are more protected, and they have a big gun or more powerful gun. They have a rifle that L something. I forgot. I mean, I can go check it out with the Wikipedia. But that's why if you look at the way Ukraine use their armor, I mean, use the Western armor, they are pretty good with the European one. Like the what's the German one? Leopard 2.6, A6 or A4, or the Challenger. That's because they are more doctrinally close by. Because that Ukraine don't have a good air force. I don't think they actually have an air force anyway now. The air force comply with drone mostly. They're still like MiG-29 or F-16 flying, but then the air force is not gonna be. It's the same as U.S. Air Force, for example. So what we do here is try to quick in, quick out, and then either use the air force to strike, to break up a strike, or try to break up a strike first, and then use the air force to pick up the remnant. But Ukraine can't do both. They can't do either because they don't have an air force as big as ours. So what they do is they gotta fund up all the tank, and then use them from A to B to like a mobile assault position. That's not how we use it. That's why it gotta be getting into trouble for it. Because they have more focus, and the terrain and the defensive measure from Russia means they focus on engaging and taking each of the defensive position. This is not how we do it. What we're doing is to get mobile. I don't know. Is that fair to say we have similar armor doctrine to Israel, and they believe it or not, a lot of Israeli armor doctrine is coming from World War II Germany, because there's a few people that actually come back and then join the Israel Defense Force after they get out of a German. I mean, during the 48, I think formation of Israel, American and the French as well. I mean, so what they are focusing on is like instead of using a tank as a mobile gun platform, they are using it to run over. I mean, not literally run over the enemy, but they will try to break the enemy line, find a gap, probe a gap, and then exploit it, break the enemy line, and then pick up the stuff with either Air Force or train and ground troop. What we are using it like in the old days when Alexander the Great used their cavalry. That's how we use it. What Ukrainians use it is use it to engage each and every position, meaning a lot of stoppage, a lot of you need to stop and shoot, you need to stop and support. We don't do that in the U.S. military. That's why Abrams sucks. Russian doctrine is to use the tank as an infantry support. So what it is like you need to. It's just like a mobile artillery, I guess. I mean, it comes down to it. I don't know how to explain it. Probably can explain better if I'm not, like sick to my breath. I'm actually probably dying soon if I don't take a medicine. But anyway, yeah. So that's how it goes. Every tank design based on this three factor: mobility, firepower, and protection. It's triangle. That's why most of the tanks have triangle as the marker or insignia. That's because that's how we come from. And yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I hope it does. Let me think about a minute or two to see if I get anything else to say about mobility protection. I mean, it's quite self-explanatory, right? Mobility is mobility. You focus on moving. Protection means focus on the armor. Firepower focus on the gun. That's why our tank has the best suspension and the best well, I'm not gonna say engine, but we do have the best firing computer. Not many tanks can hit a target 1,000 meters away while running. We can, because that's how our fire solution computer work. You can try using it on a Russian tank, but it would just and if you were, I mean, well, just as we were talking about tank, why our tank don't blow like the Russian? Because like a Russian, they have the tank design. Russian have a really major flaw that they have what they call a carousel. Like just an off topic talking about Russian tanks. When you see Russian tanks, T-72, something like that. Yeah. They have some combat footage. I can take a look. Alright. Yeah. You don't need to have a combat footage. Well, unless you want to see them blow and then explode it. I don't think they have. Alright, that's just funny. Okay, this is a sea tank. It's abandoned. So anyway. So let's go back to the tank design. So Russian tank, they use the auto loader. So what they do is they have a carousel underneath the turret. turret, not turret. and they're not protected. They're not armor or any sort of like, because when we have our tank, the M1 Abram, they have the ammo stored back. They have ammo locker in the back, and there's armor. So you close the door, and then you can burn the tank all day. So as long as you close the door, it won't go explode. But when they hit, well, from anywhere, if you penetrate and hit one of these, it's gonna blow up like a firework. That's why sorry. That's how it lift the turret up and then throw it back down. That's what the turret tossing competition come from. This is a deadly fall. Well, yeah, it's gonna be quicker to get the ammo out from the carousel bell because you just load it up. But I mean, if this is unprotected, one shot you gotta burn all of them. Especially you're not talking about rounds, you're talking about powder as well. Powder is the key. You don't burn with rounds. I know Russian rounds. I probably saw once or twice, but I don't know how Russian rounds work. They still use powder. So what is like an old battleship? Like you put the projectile in and then you push the. You don't put it because it's auto loaded. You push the projectile in, then you push the powder back behind it. So what happens is when you fire the gun, it ignite the powder back, propel the projectile through the barrel, and then it's shot. For us, we have everything enclosed, so you get a big thing like can I have I've suddenly forgot AP armor piercing anti-tank. Now armor piercing fin stabilized anti-tank round, something like that. I forgot the name. Yeah, just say armor piercing. Again, armor piercing munition. I am really, really bad now, in a bad shape. So I'm gonna finish this and I'm gonna be done. So don't worry about me. I'm not gonna be dead. I'll be lay dead. Why is that thing? I want to. Not shoulder shot. It's. I think it's. Armor piercing, fin stabilized, dark shot. Yeah. Yeah. I remember now. Discarding sable. Yes. So when you look at our tank round, not discarding sable. Yeah. This is this blue means that they're what's it called, inert. This is a hit round, I think, or hit round. Yeah. Inert. Sable. This is sable. So what happened is this is the same thing, but this is a cutaway. So what happened is when you punch through with a projectile here. So this is gonna travel high speed. The whole thing is gonna go, and this is gonna be followed by our this thing, what we call a fin stabilized sable. So when it go, this thing gotta, first of all, the impact you gotta put through the armor, and then this is like a what we call sable is like a pin. So you just push this thing up inside the tank, and then follow with all this fragmentation. So when you push this thing in, then you basically punch all this fragmentation into the tank, and it's like firing a million BBs inside a tank. You get hit, you die. But you have a very small hole because there's only this part is punch through. That's how the fin stabilized sable work. I think, I'm not sure, but I think this is hit or what's that called? Sorry. There's another one called something. HGP something. I think this is one. Is that this one or the heat shell? Yeah. It's very easy to the reason why hit round have this bit coming from is because you're like when you punch through this thing, this gotta be all burned and melted. So when you have a high pressure point like this, followed by a long and elongated metal, what happens is when it become a jet stream, because it literally melt the whole thing. When it become a jet stream, you push at the same direction into the tank. That's how heat works. You see that? This is the way that it works because you're like I don't remember which phase. I think it's around this phase. So when this thing is what's that called? Melted, all the molten metal will form like this shape, and then just punch into the tank, and that's how it works. I still don't know. I'm too tired and too sick to actually guess what that round was. To guess that round game. Anyway, yeah. So what happened here is when I already forgot why I'm talking about, like this kind of sable. Yeah, I think yeah. So when we shoot, oh yeah. So this is a full round. Oh no, not this. The APS something. Armor piercing and field stabilized, discarded stable. So DS. Yeah, this one. So this is a sable dart that it's literally the same thing. You just encode this bit. And they don't have I have to click it right, I think. So in America or most Western gun, you have an enclosed thing. So when you got hit, you still have the shell casing protecting the stuff. But in Russian tank, they don't. So when they got hit, they just blow. I mean, first of all, we have all this shell is protected itself. We don't use a projectile and a gunpowder charge, and then as well we put all those rounds into what we call an ammo locker. I think it's actually called ammo locker. I'm too sick to think. Anyway, yeah. So for us, our tank won't blow up that easily, even if you got a direct hit, because you have to be like you have to punch through the ammo locker, then you have to punch through the round to have it cook off, or you have to burn a long time. And even you burn it, we have like a blowout panel. What blowout panel means, it actually redirect all the gas and stuff and the heat from outside. I mean, into outside from the back instead of the cool compartment. So the tank is what we call positive pressure. All right. So when you have a puncture, when you have an intrusion or puncture, I don't know how to describe it. Again, my word is limited. Then air gotta come out from that. But the thing is, if you have blowout panel in between to stop the air from coming out, then you will just be limiting how the because airflow is very important inside a tank. If you have a blowout panel, means airflow you gotta be blocked, and then you can escape. Otherwise, you just cook inside. That's how it works. Well, in a brief kind of sense. I mean, you can look up blowout panel if you want. I'm just too think that's how it goes. Rupture this is blowout panel. I didn't say. Well, you can read all that. I mean, I'm just not gonna do it now. I mean, so when you have multiple opening, the pressure is gonna be relieved not just from one direction. So it will create equal flow to stop the pressure putting inside, stop the fire from going in. Because you keep fanning the fire, if you have like an airflow. That's how I think I mean that's just how you know. I mean, if you watch Backdraft, you know how fire works, right? I mean, all right. So this will be it for me today. I hope you guys enjoy. I go on a tangent, talk about tank rounds and stuff, which wasn't asked, but I mean like a 10 minutes anyway. And I'm now gonna go take some medicine and then go to bed. And I hope next week I'm not gonna be this sick, and I should be able to more coherently talk about the question to your answer. I hope this will answer all your question. And if you like what we're doing, just drop comment on it, or write. If you want to ask me anything, you can just drop a comment on the comment section. If I don't know why I can't think of the word. I really need to take a break now. Anyway, thank you for listening today. I will see you guys next week, and hope you guys enjoy, and have a wonderful weekend. And I have to go. Bye bye.